Throughout the years, as we've talked about anti-Second Amendment efforts on this channel, a common question and comment that people get is, well, can the government really track your guns? I mean, they don't know what I have. Well, I kind of want to talk about how the government can track your guns. It's a lot more complicated than just them saying, well, I know how many guns you have and what kind they are. Because they don't know that, first and foremost. Let's start there. They truly don't know. But if they wanted to find out, the only way that they could find out is if they're specifically looking for a type of gun. So let's say, for example, there's a series of rifles that become banned. Well, what the government can do, and they're very good at this, by the way, the ATF spends, there's people that work around the clock doing this right now, tracking guns. And how they do that is if there's a certain type of series of rifles, for example, that are banned, what the ATF can do is they will go to that manufacturer of that rifle. And of course, oftentimes there's more than one manufacturer, so they'll go to the 20 manufacturers or the 50 manufacturers of that rifle. And they'll get a list of every single serial number that they have produced and where it went. And it'll always lead to a distributor. And then they go to that distributor. And then that distributor, by law, has to provide them with that list and of who they sold it to, which will ultimately lead them to a gun store. And then at that point, they go to the gun store. And of course, the gun store has a record of everybody they sold that gun to by serial number. And that leads them to you. And if for some reason you sold it, then they're going to ask you, well, where did you sell it to? And that's going to lead to the next person and the next person. Sometimes it leads them to a dead end, but a vast majority of the time they have great success with this. As a matter of fact, 98.7% of the time that the ATF tracks a gun, they find it. Or at least they find its last owner. So that's how they find out. And ultimately, again, it comes down to they have to be looking for a specific gun itself in order to find it. They can't just pull up your name and there's a list under it of all the guns you own. It's a lot more complicated than that, but that is how it happens. So if you own a gun that you're worried will be banned someday, illegally banned, I'm sure it'll eventually make its way to the courts, and I'm not really concerned about this at all, but many of you are, and I wanted to address this question. And yeah, they can track your guns and find out what kind you have, and as long as you own something that they're specifically looking for. But anytime that the ATF tracks a gun, they're looking for the gun. They're not looking for the person, if that makes sense. And they're very good at tracking down those guns, high success rates. So there you go. Can the government track your guns? Well, yeah, they can if they're looking for the specific gun, and they'll have success at it. They'll definitely find it. Let's put it that way. Unless they lost it in a boating accident. That's, I guess, lost at that point. Any thoughts or insight on that? Definitely put that below. I do want to take a moment and say that most people that watch this channel are not subscribers to this channel. Please take a moment, hit that subscribe button. It greatly increases the algorithm and our ability to get our message out. That link is below. But the most important part of this channel, we take prayer requests. Never hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.